John, you've been chasing a world title for a long time, and
Chasing dreams.
yeah, now that it's finally here, just tell me what the feeling is.
Feels great. Man, I can't even express how excited I am and how happy I am to reach an achievement like this. Um, you know, a lot of people have sacrificed a lot, I think, in order for me to be here. And, uh, and I kind of wanted to win the belt for them, especially my father. I almost lost him a few months ago. He had a heart attack, quadruple bypass surgery. And it just weighed heavy on me that he may die before I was a world champion. And everything that, sorry, my family has done for me and supported me through wrestling and through college and fighting and everything, it's just, I couldn't live with that.
Very emotional. Have you had a chance to speak with them since the victory?
No, I haven't. I've got to see my wife and teammates, but I haven't talked to my parents yet.
Let's talk about the fight itself. Zeffirino, very, very difficult submission, especially early on. Was that kind of the understanding? Is just watch out early and then grind them out?
Yeah, he came to fight, and he changed around some stuff. His stand up was a little different. His stance was a little different. He was a little more closed off than he was before. Before he was kind of a little bit out here. So I mean, he made some effective changes. He could have beat a lot of people tonight, but I had put so much into this fight and into the training and prepared so well for this fight that there was not going to be an upset tonight.
Things were really going your way, and the fifth round, a little bit of trouble. How close was things there with the leg locks? Were you in any trouble at all?
No, I mean they weren't bad at all. We were already so sweaty and wet and slippery. Like I wasn't worried about it with the positions at all. Just being patient and working with guys like Mark Dickman and Vlad. I always screw his last name up. Popovic. He's a Moldovan fighter. He's going to be fighting out in Moldova here in the next week or so. They're very good leg lock guys, and I've been spending a lot of time with them. And they had me prepared. I didn't have them when I was working for Pilares, fighting Pilares, but I had much better resources at my disposal this camp.
You talk about that team, your camp, working out at One Kicks Gym. What will the feeling like to be back there with a new shiny belt and kind of have that for the team to also be able to rally around?
Yeah, it's going to be a great thing, and I hope it really inspires those guys to see that their dreams are attainable. The things that they want, the goals that they have, they can get there. They can do it. I'm not just a madman screaming at them. I have purpose behind the things I'm trying to get them to do and trying to tell them to do. We lost a couple tough ones today in the undercard, Jeff Roman and Matt Church. I think Jeff won his fight. Personally, I don't know why he lost that split decision, but he's had some tough breaks. But he's a tough guy, and we'll get him back on the winning path. We'll get Matt back to winning too.
And being here now out of Las Vegas, what was that like for you to take the belt here in front of kind of your new hometown?
I love it, yeah, because this really is like my hometown. Phil Baroni said something a long time ago about how, before I moved here, this was kind of like my hometown already because the people who live here and work here are always here. And when your picture goes up on the billboard or in your magazine or whatever, like they see that. Like that's like their home team is MMA. They don't have a big football team or a big basketball team. So like the MMA fighters are kind of like their home guys. So like these people, from the first week I lived here, like I go to the airport and baggage handlers are pulling me up to the front, like, hey, John, come on, So it was like I went to high school with these guys. So like I really love being in Las Vegas, and it was a good feeling to win the fight in front of these people.
I know you want to celebrate the moment, but you know how the sport works. The always question is what's next. Jake Shields, was supposed to be in this fight. Don't know what he's doing. Husamar Paharis is kind of doing something interesting as well. So I mean, what does seem to be the next move for you?
I don't know. Just train and wait till they find somebody for me to fight. They've signed some new welterweights. Who knows? Maybe they can do one of those tournament things with some of the new guys. Get everybody introduced to who those guys are. I wouldn't mind taking a month or two off to heal up a little bit, and I got some guys fighting, so I devote some time to coaching them too. But I love fighting, so who knows?
You mentioned that this might be your last shot at a world title. I mean, had you come up short tonight, was there any thought about the end of your career?
I mean, every time we come in and we start wrapping our hands up before a fight, you start thinking about, is this going to be my last one? Even when it was my first one. I was telling Crazy Bob before this fight, I was like, I can't believe we're still doing this crap. It's like, it never gets easier. It never gets easier. I've had 41 fights now. And it's the same feeling, I love the training, I love everything, but there's always that moment when you're getting wrapped where you're like, what am I doing? Like, I'm going to go into a cage and fight somebody. Like, I got a college education. I went to Purdue University. you know. But that's just a little fleeting thought. You push it away and go, no, I love this. I love what I'm doing. So you go out there and you do your job.
When did you know you had this fight? You could kind of see it after what the second
Well,
round.
the second half of the first round, I think I started to see him fade a little bit. He came out strong early, but like some of the positions on the ground, I couldn't open up. He was staying tight and keeping me tight, so I could really only find shots in on the body. And then I was having trouble finding my right hand too. I was landing a lot of nice jabs, a lot of leg kicks came in. I wasn't planning on kicking much because I figured he just would have dived for the leg and rolled up for leg locks, but. I was able to cut through some of that and kick the legs anyways. But yeah, I think early on I started feeling him fade, but then midway through the fight he started coming back a little bit. He started digging down deep. I think he realized where he was and wanted to try to win.
John, all kidding aside, congratulations, first of all. Just a follow-up, piggyback on his question there. You said a lot of people put in a lot of effort and a lot of work, and you kind of won this for them. Was there a point in time, like seriously in the last couple of years, where you had to look inside and say, do I really want to continue doing this?
I mean, I don't know if I've always wanted to do this, but I just, I don't know. I think I was moving around a lot and struggling with where I was going. I mean, I quite honestly, I don't like going too far back, but like I felt when I was fighting for the UFC that like what was the point of working hard? What's the point of training hard? I won 8 fights, lost a title fight of the night. I won 5 more and had a draw, and then I was treated like, redheaded stepchild. And I just felt like, what's the point of being good? What's the point of training so hard if you're not going to get anywhere? If there's no merit system afforded to any of this, if there's nothing that you can see that like, if I do these things, I'll definitely get success. I started weighing pretty hard on me.
It's almost like a sense of when you were younger, it's all about Jon Fitch, and now it's kind of like about all the people you love that are around you now.
Yeah, I mean, I have kids. I got two awesome boys, my wife, my family, and I'm a little more mature now, and I realize the sacrifices that other people made for me. Sometimes when you're younger, you don't realize that, And just me moving away from Indiana and my family, it was kind of a sacrifice for them because they didn't get to spend time with me. I didn't get to spend time with my nephews the way that I would have if I just would have stayed there and been a teacher. And those things, they weigh on you a little bit. Like, what am I doing this for? Why did I sacrifice my family time and friends back home? If I can't even be a world champion.
Does this moment kind of make it all worth it?
Yeah, it kind of really does. It kind of justifies a lot of heartache and a lot of broken bones and broken noses.
To go off that question, where does this moment rank in your career?
Man, this has got to be one of the top. I think this is one of my top moments, and then I think the fight with GSP, and then my fight with Eric Silva down in Brazil. Just because that whole moment of, they're screaming, "You're gonna die" at the weigh-ins, at the beginning of the fight, and at the end of the fight, it was like the Rocky moment. They started cheering for me by the end of the fight, so it's hard to beat that. You get a whole country to turn around and cheer for you.
Hey, John, would you like to see medical cannabis be accepted and sort of be an exemption from this?
I am a medical. I've mentioned before. I am a medical cannabis patient. I think there needs to be more openness to it because I think there's a lot of fighters who are afraid to come forward and say that they use it to treat their pain and stuff, and they're using other things like muscle relaxers and painkillers and even NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, and those are things that cause stroke and heart attack and addiction and death. So I think we need, for fighter safety, to be a little more open to alternative medicines.
John, I know you haven't had a chance to see the fight, but you had to have a good feel for how your striking was going because it's definitely improved, and that was even talked about on Media Row.
Yeah, I've worked with some really great people over the years. The guys at AKA, Javier Mendez and Gary Owens, I spent a lot of my time with. When I went to Syracuse, I had a couple really good guys out there working with me, footwork and fixing my hook and stuff like that. And then getting to Nick and Luke Chang and Dewey Cooper and Scott Leffler over here at One Kicks now in Las Vegas, like they're really bringing out the best in me. I think especially with Nick because he's a bigger guy, and for someone bigger who can move to hold mitts for you, it's a lot different than somebody who's little and you're punching down at.
You still working with the union, trying to put that together?
Yeah, I'm still working with the Mixed Martial Arts Fighters Association. We're still trying to organize, and we're talking to a lot of fighters. There's a lot of support. But you know, that's all fighter to fighter talk usually right now because we're trying to build our numbers.
Thank you for your honesty, John.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, guys.